Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I'm your host, Mike Veerman. I'm here with my friend and trusty producer, Max Kerman, as well as our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham, and miraculously recovered from her deathbed and serious illness, intern Erica is here with her mic stand. Erica, how are you feeling?
Great.
Good. That's great news.
That's good. Quick turnaround.
Okay. That was only Tuesday, and you guys are so mean. I didn't know you thought this lowly of me.
What?
That a measly hangover would stop me from showing up to the pod?
It was only a measly hangover?
What's that?
It was only a measly hangover?
No, it wasn't a hangover at all.
Oh, see, we almost caught you in a lie there. Do you see what you did there? A measly hangover.
Do you swear to God?
Swear to God.
Wow.
So
All right.
I'll be totally honest with you. Later that day, I was hanging out with our mutual friend Dan, and I said, "Was it because Dan and you hang out?" And I said, "Was Erica actually she's sick?" Or was she partying last night? And then Dan, who considered himself a bit of an investigator, furiously went through all of your friends' Instagram stories.
Was I there?
Because everybody was out and about on the Sunday drinking day, like Shane suggested. And then we could not find you. And then Dan just said, "Wow, she's good. She covered her tracks."
Covered her tracks.
And then
Maybe that's because I was in bed by 9:30.
well, then
On the Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
so then I was like, let's text her roommate to see. So I said, Maddie, for comedy fodder, can you tell me if Erica got drunk last night?
Oh my
And please don't show this to Erica.
She didn't tell me that.
Oh, I'm good.
No.
Okay, Maddie's a confidant now. I like
Oh
that.
Now you know
my
She's an
God.
informant. Hey, I don't believe she was because she stayed at home while Kate and I were out. I think she was sick this morning. And then I wrote, "Oh, you're a good friend. A+ cover up." And then she goes, "Haha, for real though. She was in Kitchener and got home this evening, so we didn't even meet up. So she didn't even meet up with us." I was like, "Good job with the alibi. Did she threaten you?" And then Maddie said, "Not this time, but I see it. But now I know how she works." All right.
So what was the illness?
You guys, I believe it was a touch of heat stroke.
Heat
Heat
stroke.
stroke.
Oh.
Yes. So how do you feel now?
So wait, how do you get heat stroke if you were homesick? Weren't you like out,
No, I
out on like
wasn't.
a dock in a Canada Day bikini?
No, so I don't like to give excuses. Not like your wife. I listen to the pod.
Oh, right.
She edits the pod.
I do edit the pod.
I just wanted to record a pod so I could bitch about Kawhi Leonard and the coverage of him yesterday.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to
So for the record, if anyone listened to the last podcast, Erica, you weren't hungover.
No.
We slandered your good name. We feel
Yes.
bad. You were sick. You had heat stroke.
If anything, I'm more hungover right now than I was on Tuesday morning.
And you were here.
And here I am.
And you even pushed up the start time. You wanted to do an 8:30 start.
Yeah, because I got to get to my other freaking job.
All right. Okay. So all apologies. Listeners, we besmirched her good name. She was sick. She was not hungover. She is hungover today, but she is here. Okay, guys, topics today. Yesterday, as most of you know, we were huge Raptors fans, and of course that means we are big Kawhi Leonard fans. The big news, I think, not only in the NBA, but in sports, is NBA free agency right now, and the fact that Kawhi Leonard, who is the hottest free agent on the market, has not chosen a team. A little bit of context, he's choosing between either coming back to the Toronto Raptors, the world champion Toronto Raptors, or going home to Southern California, where he is from, and playing either for a super team in the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, or going and joining the Los Angeles Clippers, who are kind of a similar situation to the Raptors, where it's like he's joining a team that is sort of a little bit more deep, and he would be the unquestioned superstar that could lead them potentially to a title. So we've all been watching this. The whole NBA and NBA Twitter and fans of the league have been watching to see what Kawhi will do, because he will shift the balance of the league depending on his choice in these three teams. This has obviously become a super sort of like exciting thing to do at pastime. People are like looking at the clues. They're on deep Twitter. People are popping up with fake like anonymous Twitter accounts that are like, I work for the Lakers, or I know someone who knows someone at the Lakers and he's signing. So free agency started on July 1st. And the big buzz the second day was that Kawhi Leonard, actually it would have been July 1st at night. News started to spread amongst Twitter. I don't know, Max, if you've been following it all that night, or Shani, if you were following it, or even you, Erica. I'm not sure how deep into the NBA
I was sick.
Oh, right. My bad. You were in bed drinking a Neocitrin.
She's good. She's good.
So So it would have been, I guess, the Monday night. It started to look like it was the Lakers. Like all of the sort of like all these anonymous accounts started popping up with very detailed reports. Are like, it's done. He's signing a 4-year deal with the Lakers. He's going to be a Laker. All the memes, Photoshop, people are starting to Photoshop him into Laker jerseys. And me and all my Raptors friends are like texting. I'm in different groups, and we're all getting very depressed because we're like, shit, it looks like he's going to go join LeBron and AD. This is kind of crazy. None of the super reputable reporters would touch it. None of them would say he's going
Everybody's
to
waiting for Woj to drop the bomb.
100%.
Yeah, no one. It's always just like these rinky-dink fan sites.
But talking heads, guys like Rick Bucher, guys like Shannon Sharp, guys, they'll go on TV and they'll say, I'm hearing it's the Lakers. It's looking like it's Lakers. Stephen A. Smith, he'll be like, my sources say it's going to be the Lakers. So you have enough buzz that you're like, we're all just sitting around waiting for this Woj bomb. Woj is this amazing reporter in the NBA that breaks all the news.
Is he ever wrong?
Woj, not in when he tweets definitive news, but his speculation can be wrong sometimes. Okay. Like he'll be like, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard are talking about meeting up with the Clippers. People will take that as like, they're going to the Clippers. But there's a difference between when Woj speculates and when Woj reports.
So when he reports, he's like 100%.
Yeah, he's batting.
It is crazy how he's become one of the most like fascinating figures in the NBA. As an aside for a second,
Yeah.
It's just like here's just like this reporter from New Jersey who over the years has like basically infiltrated the whole league, where for whatever reason he gets the scoop over everyone else.
He's not a former player?
No,
I'm kidding.
No,
I've seen him.
I've seen what he looks like, yeah.
But isn't that an impressive thing? Like you think that at some point, some other reporter who is like pals with more players, but like he must have ingratiated himself with all these front office executives and players and agents to like an incredible degree for him to be able to be the guy.
Well,
he's been doing it for like 10 years too.
Well, there's just something fascinating about being a superstar in your field. So if LeBron James is like, the best player in the NBA, Woj is the LeBron James of reporters.
Yeah.
It's just so fascinating to be like, I want to be the best at what I do. And then people just like...
And no one feels betrayed. Like he's still a liked person in the league.
There are people that don't like him, and there are people that suggest that he leans certain ways. So like when he speculates, it's all very positive toward the Clippers, and he doesn't really have any positive speculation towards the Lakers. So people are like, well, clearly we know he's leaning a certain way because he gets information from certain people. That happens. LeBron's camp doesn't like him because he'd speculated about LeBron back during the decision in 2010. There's all these sort of
there's been instances like he was pals with Joe Dumars with the Detroit Pistons.
That's right.
So a lot of his reporting would lean towards
super positive
Right.
toward the Pistons.
Is he
and
Raptors
Dumars.
agnostic or?
No, he's tight with Masai and Kyle, so he has a direct sort of like line. So I feel like he's very positive. Like when the Raptors were sort of ascending these last 5 years, like we were kind of a joke franchise for a long time, obviously. But then once like the team started winning with DeMar and Kyle and Dwayne and Masai, Woj would write like a lot of really positive stuff. He would do a feature on Masai. He would have Kyle on his podcast. He would have Dwayne on his podcast. He would sort of like, he'd lean in because I do think that he has a really good relationship there with our franchise. But I've found that all the reporting this summer has been largely like Clippers positive.
Clippers positive, yeah.
And I think, and I'm not like a super, like I tend to be very even with this stuff, and I'll get to this when it comes to what happened yesterday. So basically this is all to say, what were we going to say, Matt?
Oh, yeah. It was all to say that this guy, by the way, his name is Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yep.
And he is so successful at his job that there's a term called a Woj bomb. And that's when he delivers a really exciting piece of news, basically.
A tweet.
Yeah, a tweet. And it is just impressive how this guy has taken over the NBA, basically, when it comes to free agency or any other trades or happenings in the league.
And it's to the point, like Max said, that even though there's this huge sort of wave of like momentum for the Lakers on Twitter and Kawhi Leonard a couple days ago, everybody says until Woj tweets
Until Woj has it.
You don't believe it.
Yeah, and you don't have to be getting in the weeds with basketball or the players or the front offices just to appreciate that. Just Google the guy's name and just see what he looks like. That in a league full of like multimillionaires with
Adonises,
that are like that's so celebrity focused and it's just like this guy is sort of at the epicenter of everything.
He's a major player,
which is fucking hilarious and awesome. I think.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
So all of this wave of stuff started happening Monday night, but the Woj bomb never came. So all of us were like, Kawhi's going to the Lakers. I made peace with it. I was a little crushed, but
Yeah, me
whatever.
too.
And then I went to bed that night, and I just kept waiting. I only get one push notification on my phone, only one, and it is Adrian Wojnarowski's tweets.
Wow.
It's the only push notification I'll get to my phone.
Says a lot.
Instagram and Twitter, nothing except for his tweets. So I just wait. I remember when the Kawhi Leonard trade happened last summer at about 3 a.m. it broke, right, because they were dealing with Masai in Africa. my phone buzzed and I woke up and I saw it and I immediately shot out of bed and I was like, holy shit, they traded DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. Like I couldn't believe it. Danica's like, what are you doing? And I was like the glow of the phone is there at 3 a.m. and then you do the thing where you kind of roll to your side so that the glow doesn't affect her. And I'm just like scrolling through. And she's like, seriously? I'm like, I can't believe this. This is mad. Anyway,
Did you have a baby yet?
No, she was preggo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she was pregnant, and I was like annoying her by like going like, I can't believe they traded DeMar.
You're like, this is the best day of my life.
I was like, honestly, you know me from the start.
Yep.
I was on that Kawhi tip. I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to us from a basketball standpoint. R.I.P. DeMar. I feel bad that he had to go, but you know these things happen. So long story long, Monday night I was just waiting to like wake up on Tuesday morning to a Woj bomb saying Kawhi Leonard has chosen the Los Angeles Lakers. If you sort of believe the wave of momentum on Twitter. Nothing happens. So I said to everybody, listen, like no news is good news ultimately, because if he hasn't announced now, it doesn't mean he's canceled other meetings, et cetera, et cetera. And my analogy was when everyone thought he was doing the Lakers, I'm like, maybe Kawhi has one more miracle for us. You know, it's like that shot in Game 7 against Philly in the conference semifinals where he takes the shot and it bounces on the rim 4 times. I'm like, until he announces that ball is bouncing on the rim and it still might fall through for the Raptors. Yeah. So cut to yesterday morning. There's this buzz kind of happening. I get a couple texts from friends, a couple little birdies, not my friends that are people that work at MLSC, but other people that have friends that work in different places around the country and in the States. And they're starting to send me some things. And there's a guy sitting in the Hazleton Hotel, the lobby of the Hazleton Hotel. This is at like 10 in the morning or 9 in the morning.
Do you know this guy?
Not
Sitting
the guy.
in the Hazleton?
No, absolutely not. But somebody had found this guy's Twitter account, which at this point was open. It's a guy that was called It's Bobby. And so he's sitting in the Hazleton Hotel, and he said he had a tip, I think from somebody at the Hazleton, not from the Raptors organization, that there was a big meeting going down there, and that Masai Ujiri and the Raptors general manager, Bobby Webster, were going to be walking in. So this guy's having a tea, and he's pretending to be sitting in the lobby just drinking his tea, and he's filming them come in. So it's like, shit. Masai's, so you see the footage. So I'm looking at this Twitter account at like 10 a.m. and I'm like, I'm like, if they're setting up a meeting here, that means Kawhi's coming in, because they wouldn't Skype with Kawhi. You wouldn't get the Hazleton to Skype with Kawhi. You'd do it from MLSE, right?
Yeah, or you'd go to LA or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Raptors Twitter is starting to buzz, but everybody's also going, shh, because here's the other thing about Kawhi's free agency. Him and his camp value privacy so much that basically it's been suggested that there's been certain loyalty tests for the Lakers, for the Clippers, and for the Raptors, meaning do not leak any details of any of these meetings or even when they take place. So none of the big reporters are even saying like, oh, the Clippers had a meeting on Tuesday night. No one will say it because no one knows.
And we should add that every other player things leak. Every other star player, whenever they take a meeting or there's a conversation with another player or another front office, it comes out every single time, because I think most of the other players in the league like the gossip.
Of course.
Like, they like being the center of attention. They like knowing that Twitter is talking about them. Kawhi is the opposite. Kawhi wants nothing to do with it. And there's stories from his recruitment, even when he was a high school player going to San Diego State, where it's just like he never got back to any phone calls. It was hard to read. Like, there wasn't that much communication. So he's always been this kind of guy.
I saw a hilarious tweet that said, for everybody waiting for Kawhi to make a decision, he goes, everyone's sitting around waiting for Kawhi to make a decision, but the basketball program at San Diego State didn't even know he was showing up until he showed up for summer school classes. So enjoy your 4th of July, Kawhi will.
That's awesome.
So one of the funny things that happened when the Lakers and Magic and everyone started sort of leaking that Kawhi was going to sign there, everyone was like, oh, they're blowing it, which was kind of funny. And Amir from Jake and Amir had a really funny tweet where it's like, okay, guys, Kawhi's camp is super protective, super secretive, don't let anything leak. And then underneath was that like Kawhi to Lakers was trending in America. So it's like they couldn't keep that a secret. So cut to yesterday, there's this sort of swell building, and it's very much like what we saw with the Lakers 2 nights before. So everyone's going, oh my God, is Kawhi going to come into Toronto? This is like deep Raptors Twitter, which I'm ashamed to say, like, I'm like looking at like I've got a problem. Anyway, so like, but I'm getting excited. I roll over to Shane. I go, yo, I'm like, this thing's going down at the Hazleton. I'm like, we don't know what it means, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, interesting. And Shane's like, well, maybe Kawhi, because I'm like, if he's coming in here, you don't just come in here to have the meeting. You come in here to maybe announce or sign. She's like, I don't know. Maybe he just needs to pick some stuff up from the apartment or.
Somebody made that joke. He's like, he's going to pick up those Home Depot boxes that he bought.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like he forgot his iPad in Toronto. So he's like, well, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I can take this meeting and grab that iPad. So anyway, we're kind of keeping an eye on it. But at this point, it's still very quiet. Like Will Liu quiet. Will Liu, as a Raptors reporter, tweeted out about this guy in the lobby, but then he deleted it. Then that guy in the lobby makes his stuff super private. He takes his avatar down.
He's killed. Someone murders him.
Well, clearly, words get around. It's like, shut up. Like, this is the whole thing about Kawhi. Keep it quiet. So it's like, people are starting to close ranks. So I'm like, something's going on. Like, I don't know. Like, I start thinking, like, if they had met the night before, this is the meeting that's going to, like, they're going to lock it down. Or it's the meeting. Anyway, cut to, like, an hour and a half later. The cat is out of the bag. Everyone now, like, on larger Twitter, not just sort of Deep Raptor Twitter, knows about the meeting at the Hazelton. And not only that, but this guy, Kevin Richardier, I don't know what his fucking name is, he tweets that the MLSE plane, the private jet, is on, like, course to fly into Toronto for, like, 2 o'clock or whatever it was.
This is awesome.
So this guy tweets, he tweets that the plane's coming in. Now everybody's losing their minds. Like, I don't know who's going to be on that. Who knows? But now it's, like, become a frenzy. I find out that, and full disclosure, CP24, who is a part of our company, they are sending a chopper to cover whoever's getting off of this plane and to follow the SUVs. I hear this and I go, you got to be kidding me.
And for some context when it comes to NBA history of free agency, there was an incident when LeBron was a free agent leaving Cleveland and people were trying to track his private jet going down to Miami. So there's a history of that, of civilians and news agencies
tracking the planes.
Tracking planes. Network, who's one of our favorite NBA follows. So the offseason doesn't really start until we start tracking aircraft, which is true.
Totally true. Yeah. So, and by the way, it's one thing to track aircraft. Like I said, it's happened. And once word got out about the Hazelton, listen, you can't have a meeting in a public place like the Hazelton and not expect like the maitre d' or the anybody to really, the person at the door, the bellboy, I don't know. It's going to leak if you're going to have it in a public place. That happens. Masai is a very famous person. Kawhi is obviously extremely famous. That's going to leak. The problem is, for all these other plane tracking things, in any other NBA city, you don't send a helicopter and chase the car, the SUV, like he's fucking O.J. Simpson with the white Bronco. It was so once they go live on CP24, we're all sitting in the office and we're all just watching it, like mouth agape. And it keeps cutting back to the anchor, and she's like, "We don't know. We can't report for certain if he's in the car. We think it is in the car, but we can't say." And then she's like, "And from what we've heard, Kawhi and his group are very private people." As they're following him with the chopper. And so like now I'm on like my phone. I'm in 5 different fucking basketball groups. I'm so like mad. I'm just like, they are blowing this. I'm like, and my brother had the best line, like, because I'm talking to my brother. I'm like, what is going on here? Blah, blah, blah. And Greg's like, well, he's like, we were cool for exactly 2.5 weeks after we won the championship, and now we're back to being a laughing stock. Because NBA Twitter was eviscerating us. Like, we're following his free agency with helicopters, and there's all these people outside of the Hazelton waiting for him to arrive.
Yeah.
And all I keep thinking is like, imagine if you're Masai and you set up this meeting. It's like, here's our pitch. Here's our moment to tell Kawhi, this is where you want to be for the next 5 years of your career. This is it. This is your moment. You've been planning for this. Literally, you've been thinking about it all year. You've been recruiting this guy. This is the moment. And now you have fucking choppers following the car like he's Henry Hill in fucking, what's that movie? Goodfellas.
If they sign him, I want an oral history of like that day.
Oh my God.
Because it'd be so fascinating if Masai and Bobby and even Kawhi and his team like got to tell us from their perspective.
So did they catch a glimpse of him at all from the plane?
It looked like him getting off the plane. Yeah.
If
really?
Princess died him, do you think CP24 would get sued?
They could. I mean, I think that they sued the French journalists that were chasing Princess Diana.
That's a risk. Imagine they tried to outrun the helicopter.
Yeah.
And then flip the car.
I wonder if, that's the thing. It's like, I wonder what they did. Like, did they go downstairs and go to another venue? We can imagine how much time and preparation was put into this pitch meeting for Kawhi.
And that space.
So they probably chose the Hazelton because it's a beautiful hotel in a beautiful area of town. But it's like, fuck, now we have to go to another spot. They have to clear out another conference room. We have to make sure the AV is working. Like, is anything
I heard they just went to Sneaky D's and got some nachos. Yeah, that's where they moved it. I'm kidding, of course. Do you guys think I'm crazy for thinking this is a super embarrassing small town move? Like, it just makes us look like such a small town.
But here's the thing, is that the Lakers do crazy shit too.
No, man, come on.
No, well, listen, they had literally a mural of Kawhi in a Lakers jersey painted already.
Yeah,
like, to me,
fine.
that's like equally embarrassing in a different way.
That's fan generated, one.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan, you go down and you paint a mural. That's awesome. That's like, I appreciate this player. I want to paint this mural. When a news organization decides to track with a helicopter, like, listen, like no one's tracking LeBron James from his plane in L.A. That wouldn't happen in Chicago.
Who
that wouldn't
broke
happen
that?
in New York. What?
Oh, but in Cleveland, who broke that? Are you just saying that we're on par with Cleveland?
What are you talking about? Who broke what? Like
No, the plane tracking.
When LeBron returned to Cleveland,
Yeah.
right? Like they had footage of his plane landing in L.A. when he signed with the Lakers, but they didn't follow him from the fucking airport to the practice
Kawhi's
facility.
just shrouded in so much more mystery than any other player
Yeah.
in the history of the league.
And listen, I get it. And like CP24, their footage was used on every American outlet. It was on ESPN. It was on everything. Everybody was talking about it. So I guess if the goal is to generate, like, I guess it's news because people are interested. So I understand the machine and the mechanism, and that it's like, I understand CP24's goal. I'm sure they accomplished it. But as a basketball fan and somebody that wants Kawhi to stay and not be embarrassed and have like a modicum of class and sort of like being cool for once in our lives as a fan base, it was just like I was watching it with like I was mortified.
Yeah, I don't think that it bothers me quite to the degree it bothers you, Mike, because I just try to put myself in Kawhi's shoes. And Kawhi, especially in the last month, has experienced crazy amount of attention. It's like, oh yeah, the thing I did just attracted 2 million people to the streets of Toronto, and people were just like screaming at me for 6 hours straight while I was on top of a bus. Okay, so a helicopter's following me. It's not that surprising. So I just in the scope
For
of his
a celebratory parade, that's to be expected.
No, but I'm just saying in the scope of his like life experiences and the attention he gets and the people that want to meet him, he's like fucking on the level of Barack Obama. Like it's just like nothing probably surprises Barack Obama anymore, and I wonder if that surprised him. Maybe he is like this fucking. Maybe you're right. Maybe he says this is fucking crazy. This sucks. I hate it.
I'm going back to LA where I could just be another famous person.
Yeah. Or maybe he goes, this is what happens when you're as good as I am.
Well, it happens here.
Well, it's tough because oddly you're part of the problem, Mike. Because,
Go on.
Because just furious with me already. But just because you want to know every single detail, every step of the way, you're in all these message groups. Anytime somebody breathes or suggests something else, you're on that hot take. Then you're on a different thing. It's like you're on this emotional roller coaster the whole ride with this insatiable need to know everything.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, we'll know when we know. I don't really care. But you're like rolling over to you're on a chair with wheels, by the way.
That's true. Not like rolling on the ground, pulling at his pants.
You'll like roll over to me and give me all this info. And honestly, when you told me it was at the Hazelton, I was like, I should walk over there and check it out. Like, I just had this thought, but then you're like, these people are crazy. I'm like, yeah, they are crazy. You know what I mean? But I would have no interest in it if you weren't getting me all hyped up because you're following it every
Manager Ash and Lights were in Yorkville yesterday getting some ice cream at like 9 o'clock at night. People were still outside the Hazelton.
Well, because most people are just like, yeah, why not? This
I'll
is
stroll
kind of
over.
fun. Like, I don't think these are hardcore NBA fans going to check it out. It's just people like going to see an animal in the zoo or something.
Right.
I personally enjoyed the whole thing. I thought it was like such a hilarious day on Twitter. Obviously, if he re-signs with the Lakers and he says the reason why I didn't re-sign with the Raptors is because there's a bunch of fucking maniacs, including the main news outlets in that town, so fuck that place, then I'd feel bad. But in terms of just like pure entertainment, I really liked it.
It is very entertaining.
It was so entertaining.
And
yesterday.
as an NBA fan, part of the fun of the league is that it's an insane league.
Oh,
and
it's
so
the
if
best,
this-
the
if
best
this-
league ever. And
If this was happening in Minnesota or Portland, I'd be laughing my ass off. Like the DeAndre Jordan hostage
that
scandal.
was the best.
Like there's been in free agency has been crazy historically in this league, and it is very fun but it's like that thing where it's like I can make fun of my family, but when you make fun of my family, I get upset. It's like that thing where it's like I can beat the shit out of the Raptors because I've literally invested almost 20 years of my
But
life.
when Mark
into this.
Stein and everybody else is making fun
He's
of the
taking
Raptors,
the piss out
yeah.
them. And by the way, I don't mind if you make fun of them. I just hate when it's like self-inflicted wounds. As a city, it's like we spend so much time sort of like we were being very superior to the Lakers fans because we're like, look at them leaking all this stuff, being so crazy, they're so silly. And then the minute Kawhi flies into town, we all end up like we're like Beatles fans all of a sudden. And Shane, I do know what you mean. I am part of the problem that feeds it, and I am being way too like maybe like nuanced. Where I'm like, why can't all fans like be like me, just super into the sport and have? It's like I know it doesn't work that way, and I've used this analogy before. The party's gotten so big now that we don't even know who's at the party anymore.
Yeah.
Things are getting smashed. There's people upstairs that we've never heard of, and so it's like those people that are gathering at the Hazelton. It is Kawhi is mega famous. He's ascended to like a LeBron type level where anywhere LeBron goes or Shaq goes, there's certain famous NBA players that supersede sports fame or NBA fame, right? Kawhi has weirdly, through this championship and playing in Toronto, ascended to like a level, especially in this town, where he is like Tom Cruise or something. It's outrageous, and it is fun. It is fun. I acknowledge that it's fun. I was just like, I just couldn't believe we were following his SUV. Like, if he had signed and gotten to town, that's one thing. It's just like, he's just coming for the meeting.
Yeah.
But I know that nobody's going to know that nuance. They don't care. And I'm sure the ratings were great for it and all that stuff. I don't know. I just thought that it was a lot, man.
Yeah.
And I don't ultimately think it's going to, like, if he's going to stay, he's going to stay. Like, are the choppers going to make him leave? I don't know. Like, maybe, like I said, maybe he's like, you know what, in LA, I'm just another famous person. And in fact, if I'm playing beside LeBron, I'm not even the most famous person on my team. Maybe I like it that way. And it's like, it's a little bit too crazy up in Canada. Or maybe he likes the attention. This is the thing about Kawhi. Nobody knows. No one knows what he's like. No one knows what he's going to choose. He obviously didn't make his decision last night after meeting with the Raptors. People are like, he might not make a decision for another couple days.
Well, I think he likes being the guy. I think his basketball ego is different than his social ego.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So so let's wrap this up.
But you said you had info, like, because Jalen Rose said there's a 99% chance of him coming.
So here was my thing about this. So what I started to notice, and this is what I said, is all my Raptors friends are like, yo, guy, it's happening. It feels imminent. It's going to happen, because people started, like, again, Deep Twitter was saying, we're all here in a 1-1. He's signing a 1-1 in Toronto. People like Kendrick Perkins, former NBA players, like, you don't fly up to Toronto unless you're going to sign the deal. Jalen Rose goes on the Get Up, and he says, my sources tell me it's 99% going to happen. He's signing a 1 and a 1. He's like, I've been saying this the whole time. It's a 2-year deal. He goes, if you notice, my reporting hasn't wavered. He's like, I measured twice, cut once. I just dropped the mic. Everybody's like, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. But what it started to smell to me a lot like was 2 nights ago with the Lakers. Guys like Rick Bucher saying it's happening. Guys like Stephen A. Smith saying it's happening. Deep Twitter having like, oh, my friend of a friend that used to know this guy, or this person used to know the owner, and this is the owner's nephew, with Jeannie Buss with the Lakers or whatever. It's like, and I've got some info. I'm like, this Raptors thing that everybody's celebrating, and the thing that we were all sort of like making fun of the Lakers for 2 days ago, is exactly the same. But because it's positive news for us, nobody's looking at it objectively.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm a cynic, but I started to at around like 3 in the afternoon, maybe about 20 minutes after the Jalen Rose thing, I went, this is feeling a lot like 2 nights ago with the Lakers. And the truth is, nobody knows Kawhi. So we're being naive here.
Yeah, and the thing is, all these NBA commentators and all these ex-players that want to get into the commentary game, they all need to provide hot takes. It's not interesting for anybody to go, I just don't know. And the thing is, if they're right, they can say, I told you guys. I told you I got the best sources. And if they're wrong, then they go on to the next subject. There's no accountability when it comes to speculation. Ryan Russillo, who we both love, who's a great NBA commentator who's on Bill Simmons' podcast sometimes, he tweeted, the amount of wrong stuff I've heard about Kawhi is unprecedented. The biggest mistake with him is thinking you can read him. Yeah, and Russillo this whole time is like, listen, I'm pretty well connected in the league. I know lots of GMs. I know lots of players. I know lots of agents. Nobody has a fucking clue. I've talked to teams that are going after him and teams that aren't going after him and asked if they have any sense of what Kawhi's doing. They're all like, we have no fucking clue. The guy and his team are super small and closed off and don't talk to anybody. And he responded to his own tweet. He said, I'm not giving myself any credit here, by the way. Earlier in the week, most thought it was the LA Clippers, and then the info was all coming from LA.
No, LA Lakers.
Oh, LA Lakers.
Sorry,
yeah. And the info was all coming from LA. It's just the stuff I can't share that is a waste of everyone's time. All of it might be wrong. It's just very different than other free agents. So, yeah. And again, this is what adds to the Kawhi allure. Allure? That's one of those
Allure.
Allure.
Yeah. Perfect.
Try it one more time.
One more time for us, Max. Allure. Like amour. Allure.
No, like an O-O.
Allure.
Allure.
We can fix it in post.
Totally different voice. Allure. Okay, so anyway, just to wrap up this Kawhi thing, and this is not a basketball podcast, but I know we went deep on that, but I think it's more interesting just sort of in the way that we approach these things and celebrity and generating a news cycle, and obviously it means more to some than others. Guys, to wrap up, what do you think Kawhi is going to do, Shane?
I've always been 50-50.
Yeah. But you have to bet your life on it, and you have to pick a team. One of the three.
I got to bet my life on it. Well, okay, I'll say the Raptors.
Maxi boy?
Raptors.
Erica?
I think the Raptors.
I'm going to say the Raptors.
Nice.
Kawhi's coming back. Woo! 100%. Jalen Rose. Okay.
That was as unanimous as our prediction that Erica was hungover.
Oh, we were dead wrong.
We were dead wrong there.
Yeah.
Law of average say, though, that we'll be right on this time, though.
Right.
There you go.
Wrong on Erica, right on Kawhi.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next topic.
What are we
Guys,
talking about?
What do you want to get to? Well, we can do Little Mermaid, or we can do Max's hate of motorcycles.
Let's do Little Mermaid.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought the motorcycles had something to do with Kauai being in Yorkville.
Well, let's just talk about motorcycles. I just think we'll do Little
We'll do
Mermaid
motorcycles
last.
right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were sitting on a patio the other day. We were having a Mike on Much meeting because there might be some cool things happening.
Oh yeah,
with,
thanks. I didn't get the memo there.
Oh, sorry. it was non-pod stuff.
Okay.
But so we're at a lunch and we're sitting there.
We'll get you lunch, though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll bring you to a lunch.
Yeah, do you want some chicken fingers? We'll
Sure.
go to Jack Astor's, get some chicken fingers.
Oh, they're the best.
They're really good.
Do you get them tossed in
Yes,
the buffalo sauce?
I of course.
Okay,
I used to
good.
work at Jack Astor's. Their chicken's never frozen. Their fingers are freshly battered to order,
It says on the menu, so
and
it's
all
confirmed.
their sauce is house made.
Oh.
Wow.
It's the best. The best.
I thought I heard some clucking.
The sauces are house made. The chickens are in the back.
Yeah, it's just a joke. Bit of a comedy show.
So, well, we did go to Jack Astor's because we were like, well, where do you want to go for this lunch or whatever? And Max is like, I'm craving chicken fingers. Just say Jack Astor's if you want to go to Jack Astor's. So we go to Jack Astor's, and by the way, you posted an Instagram where you're like happy because you thought it looked like a kid's birthday party. So
Yeah.
you're like Mike on Much birthday
Were
party.
you
or
getting
whatever.
messages congratulating you?
No, I
Oh.
didn't. But the shot you get, I didn't know you were filming. I'm literally mid chomping my chicken finger. I look like like I throw my chicken finger, slap it back on my plate, look out at the street, and then you like slide over to Shane, and Shane has like a cute joke or something, and I'm just like, that's the moment you got of
Sorry.
me. Yeah, whatever. I reshared it anyway on the
Yeah,
Instagram,
yeah,
but
thank you.
I was like, thank you, Max.
Well, because Alex messaged me. She was like, Mike looks fat. No, I'm kidding. No.
she's not wrong.
No, she messaged me. She's like, you didn't tell me it was the pod anniversary. I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, wait, it's the pod anniversary? I was like, where are you getting that from? She's like, Max is, or someone Instagrammed it. And then I was like, oh, no, it's just because it's like a birthday party. Kids tend to eat chicken fingers.
And
then,
fries, yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird. She thought I was lying still. She's like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, well,
Doesn't make much
that's,
sense.
That's what I was doing.
They haven't talked since Friday, actually. Still fuming.
Shane sleeping on the couch. Yeah.
So anyway, we're sitting on this patio, and all of a sudden there's like a. Is that really loud in the headphones there, Erica?
That wasn't that bad,
She's on the
actually,
ones and twos. And Max just gets in a really sour mood all of a sudden, and I'll let you take it from here.
Well,
but you-
basically, this has always happened. Whenever a motorcycle goes by,
Sorry, I just pictured manager Ash making that sound effect. Sorry. Like we were at the table and she did it. Sorry. You can cut that.
why would she make that sound?
I don't know. It was very funny watching Mike do that noise.
yeah, I really leaned into the sound effect. For those of you that don't know, it was a motorcycle waiting for a red light to change, but its engine was going insane.
I know everybody hates motorcycles. I just think that
Not everybody hates
Okay, well,
motorcycles.
here's
I
my
think
question.
most people do.
I hate motorcycles not because of the way they weave in and out of traffic, because as a cyclist, I can appreciate that. But the amount of noise they generate is so inappropriate, and the fact that they're allowed to do that is insane to me. And it happened again yesterday when I was walking along. I'm just in the middle of a nice conversation, motorcycle goes by, and it's so fucking loud. And I just don't understand how this is acceptable in our society. We have so many other rules which I think are helpful and important to make sure that other people like liberty and freedom aren't being infringed upon. You know, when it look when it comes to secondhand smoke, when it comes to
Yeah.
just different
Noise
rules.
pollution.
This is fucking noise pollution, and I think my question is there anybody who doesn't ride a motorcycle that enjoys motorcycles?
Yes, it's one of my 10-year goals. I want my M1.
You want your M1?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when,
but you're out of it because you
wanna
actually
be a
want
rider.
to be on the
so
motorcycle.
you want to be part
You're
of that
a biker.
fraternity?
You don't count.
What?
Like like you count as a person in real life, but I mean in this
You matter.
in this debate you don't count.
You exclude yourself by wanting
Oh,
to be a
'cause I-
biker.
yeah.
Yes.
Is there anybody who doesn't want to be a biker or is a biker
and is cool
isn't
with it.
annoyed
that
by the noise
isn't
pollution?
furious about it? It's
No.
totally unacceptable.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not furious.
You're not furious about it?
No.
So if you're with your baby, she
Yeah.
just went to sleep. You're having some buffalo tossed chicken tenders at Jack Astor.
Sounds like a
Freshly
fucking
made,
dream
the
to me,
sauces have
baby.
just been made.
Yeah.
And she just fell asleep. You're having a nice thing, and then a motorcycle pulls up at that red light, and then Winona's all ruined for the day.
I would be slightly annoyed the same way I would if like a car pulled up with like a like it's all sort of like kind of just part of living downtown to me. If you're gonna eat on a patio that's downtown,
The uns though is a dream compared to that motorcycle noise.
Right. I get where you guys are coming from 100%. I'm saying I don't get, like, there are a lot of things I get my back up about, like sending a helicopter to follow an SUV during free agency. But things like that, I guess the thing is when I choose to live in a downtown core, there's so much noise pollution that I'm kind of immune to all of it anyway.
Interesting. I grew up downtown, and I totally get that. I just think that is an extra level of like an egregious offense.
It's
I'm
like
with
a
you guys.
gunshot going off,
Yeah,
but constantly.
I get where you guys are coming from, but I don't have the same sort of like immediate sort of anger that you guys get.
Is there anything comparable to that level of noise and that level of just like attention seeking?
Maybe a cannon going off, a machine gun.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
There's-
it's quite piercing.
There's just like nothing else in our society, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, that like in our day-to-day lives that we'd experience that is so insulting to the ears, and it is so selfish. It's really a selfish thing to be riding through. And by the way, there's different levels of motorcycle, right? So there's like some motorcycles that are, or scooters or whatever, that are quieter, but there's some that are so fucking loud, and it's only to attract attention to yourself and say, look at me, I'm on a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, engineering has progressed so far that motorcycles no longer need to sound like that.
Yeah, do they need to sound that way?
Right.
You're an expert, Erica.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not. No.
And I wonder if you're on the motorcycle, can you not hear it the same way that when you're not on it? Maybe it's just projecting.
You got the
outwards.
helmet too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a noise canceling helmet.
We need those for the street when they drive by. So yeah, that's a great point. Loud motorcycles feel mostly performative.
Oh,
Same as
totally.
loud cars, like people with muscle cars and stuff. That does annoy me when like someone's at a red light and they start like burning the
Oh,
tires.
that
and all
shit drives me crazy too.
That does
Yeah.
make me furious.
It's the same thing.
It is. You know what? I'm back in your guys' boat here on your side. So it is. It's like, are loud vehicles performative, and what is it? Is it just like I want to sort of, I'm here, I want to be heard, I want to be seen?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
It's like a sense of power.
Yeah, and my point is, I think there's enough people in my camp. And by the way, if you want to get your motorcycle license, Erica, that's fucking sweet. You do you.
You should
But
be on the motorcycles. We need a counterpoint here.
I think. Okay, go. You say your piece on.
I just think they're badass.
No, they are
and I
badass.
want one.
Listen, they're fucking badass. It does them being a badass thing. Does that include the sound?
I've never really given much thought to the sound. There's many different types. Like I think the Harleys sound the worst,
Sure,
right? Those
right.
like low rider like
Yeah, vroom,
ones.
vroom.
Yeah, but you can get ones that aren't as obnoxiously loud.
Of course.
That's all we're saying.
I
Get
don't
those
want
ones.
to
You get
get one
those-
for the sound.
Well, this is it. I think a lot of people on motorcycles do it for the sound. I mean, among other things, but they love the sound. They love the attention they get. So my question is, I think there's such a minority of those assholes out there that we could make up a legislation that requires motorcycle manufacturers to limit the noise on the engines, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was already a bylaw. It's just how enforceable is it?
Arrest them all, throw them in jail. Honestly,
Like you'd need cops kind of sitting on corners of streets waiting for like the red light for a motorcycle to be sitting there, rev it up, and then hit them with the
I don't
ticket.
think it would be hard. I think we could get them all.
Yeah.
Cops drive those motorcycles.
Well, it's like rolling through a stop sign. If a cop sees it, he's going to pull you over.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Anyway, if I'm elected to government, that's going to be my first issue, is motorcycle noise.
Yeah, I do not think that's frivolous at all.
Okay, good. Here's another question. Is there anything else that you are personally annoyed by in your life where you're like, this thing really bothers me and there should be some rules about it? Like smoking, like in like public places. Like even smoking on patios kind of bothers me to a degree.
I have a huge problem with people walking in Toronto. I feel like no, but I feel like no one knows how to operate a sidewalk. And
Okay, let's get
There's
into
a
this.
lot of groups. Typically, they're vacationing. I find, and they'll just like a family will be spread out widthwise instead of kind of doing some verticality.
Sure. And the pace is too slow too.
Shane
pace
is
is
also a famously fast-paced walker.
So
too.
I'm always hopping around parking meters, going around a car, like kind of risking my life just so I can make it to the Taco Bell.
I'm starving. Move.
But it's so annoying. Like people want to hold hands like three across, and they're vaping in your face.
I do really love those signs that you see on subways or streetcars where it's from the government just giving you like helpful tips on how to be a decent citizen. Like on the TTC, you'd be like, hey, just remember, don't put your feet up on the thing, or don't play like music out of your speaker, like use your inside voice. You know when you get those helpful reminders?
Yeah.
The TTC actually has a good campaign, I credit to them, where they take other people's tweets from disgruntled riders saying like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy has shoes off on the fucking TTC, and they said, "Hey, you said it." The copy from the TTC is, "Hey, you said it," and then they say, "Please respect your neighbors." And I think that's so. You're looking for more of those kinds of.
There's social contract stuff, like an escalator, right? It was stand right, walk left.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just certain things we know. You know what I mean? And usually when you're walking on a street, it's like you kind of treat it like
you stick to the right
Yeah.
when you're walking, and so people can pass. And especially if you have I have a baby stroller, and I do a lot of walking. And I find a lot of people don't know how to navigate the stroller either. And my wife included. Like, so when I'm walking with her, like Hamilton's a lot easier to walk than Toronto. The population's, there's more freedom in Hamilton to walk. So, but sometimes someone will be coming our way, the opposite way of the sidewalk. And I anticipate, okay, when they're a little bit getting closer, I'm going to signal to them that I'm going to speed up my stroller, and my wife's supposed to go behind me when I speed up. But every time I speed up, she starts walking faster beside me, and then it pushes the other people off the sidewalk, and I got to give her a little bit of a scolding every time. And she never learns. And I have a great sense when someone's walking up on me or coming beside me, and Alex won't, and she'll kind of push the people off the sidewalk. It's very embarrassing because I hate being part. I hate being part of something I detest. You know what I mean? Like when like we have a guy at work who comes over to our desk, and he's a very loud talker, and I'll be in a conversation with him, but I don't want to be like I'm not a loud talker. It's him. I'm just listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you ever get that feeling?
Yeah,
Guilty by association.
Exactly. You're half of the conversation, but you're not the loud talker. But everyone's going to be like, "Oh, this conversation's so loud." It's like, but not my half of it.
Oh yeah. Well, this happens to me sometimes with Lauren because Lauren is the most polite and appropriate person in like the history of the world. Like she's very conscious of like not wanting to offend anybody. But and I think in our relationship, I'm the one who is embarrassing and loud and inappropriate. Like going out to a restaurant, doing whatever. But once in a while, she'll be the person talking a little bit louder.
Really?
Just once in a while, and then or she'll do something where she's like not aware of her body on a sidewalk or something, and I'll have to like move her out of the way because she's being one of those people that
I always have to do that.
So fucking annoying, right? And every time I'm the one that is scolding her, she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Do you know who you are? Do you know what you've done to me like over the years? It's like, and you're telling me I have to bring my voice down? Shut the fuck up. Like, she like hates it so
Max
much.
is wearing the tassels. He's like, "You need to tone it down."
Yeah. My other pet peeve is if I'm this happens with either Ash or Lauren, is if they're in charge of opening the door with their keys, if their keys aren't out in their hand, locked, like ready to go, like with like 15 feet approaching the door,
like
because women typically have to like dig for the keys in their purse, and it drives me fucking nuts.
Shane is acting right now like there's a motorcycle going off outside
I
the
hate
room.
purses.
Yeah,
I hate.
just went down
If a
his
woman
spine.
is like, "Find this," I can't do it. I have a panic attack. I go, I can't. My wife knows I cannot go through her purse.
Purses
ever.
are gross.
Yeah.
I know what you mean because I've had this since I was a kid with my mom. Where my mom would be like, "Oh, get that out of the purse," but there's so much shit in a purse.
And like a backpack, you can feel around your own
Yes.
backpack, and you know your
There's
tendencies.
so many compartments in a purse, and there's like makeup
There's
in there. and
weird
sometimes-
Kleenex.
Yeah, and stuff is sometimes stuff's exploded, so now you're getting weird makeup on your hands.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I hate it.
Yeah. So lately, Lauren and I.
What? Dude, are we wrong about purses?
No.
You don't carry. Oh, you do have one.
My purse is, I don't know. You're right. It does collect a lot of trash. Look at this. Actually, I found this morning.
Oh, man.
There's the Kleenex. Well,
I might need it later.
Just lately though, whenever we're pulling up to our front door, and it's Lauren's job to open the door. Like if she doesn't have the key out, I'm swear to God, like 20 feet before we get to the door, she knows I'll be furious with her. I'll be like, really? It's like we're not in a rush to do anything. But I'm just like,
Do you have a key?
Yeah, I have a key, but let's say I'm holding grocery bags or something. Yeah,
Right.
like you'd one fucking job, Lauren.
My keys are out before the elevator door opens.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
how I roll.
Yeah.
Do you guys when you're walking into a bathroom start to undo your belt?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like I try to like time everything
Oh
perfectly.
yeah, I was using the gym at your apartment the other day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do that if I'm downtown. Because Dan Hamilton, our buddy, lives in the same unit, and I was finishing my workout, and I wanted to take a shower and be really efficient about it. So while I was in the elevator, I started taking off my shoes and my socks.
Oh my God. the gym?
That's weird.
In an elevator?
But I'm efficient.
Ew. Did anyone walk in?
No, I was
You're
by
like one of
myself.
those TTC
Luckily.
people, man.
Oh.
I am the problem.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. What else is there?
Okay, elevator people. When you go in and there's a person there already and they're in front of the buttons and they hit a button and they don't ask you what floor. That's, to me, that's so obvious. But when they don't do it, I hate that person.
Yeah.
And it happened to me the other day at work. And it's usually an engineer or very technical person, I find.
You know,
They're rude.
That's interesting. I saw a thing on Twitter that kind of started a bit of like a chat. This is like a couple months ago about if you get into an elevator with a woman at the exact same time, like a man and a woman, that you should hit your floor first.
I saw that. I thought it was very informative.
Because sometimes like women are like, guys can be creeps, and we've been in enough situations where it's like, I don't want to hit my floor first because it's like, one, it's like, are they waiting to see what floor I'm at, blah, blah, blah. So just to sort of take the sort of like burden out of their hands and get over the maybe social awkwardness so that they might feel comfortable, just hit your floor so that like your intentions are known. By the way, the reason this caused a bit of a Twitter sort of like battle is because then, of course, like a lot of dudes are like, you know,
Maybe she wants to follow me.
no, it wasn't.
Oh, that's what I think.
It's like I've been taught to be chivalrous, so you let them press the button first.
Right. Yeah.
So what? Am I being rude if I go in and hit the button first? And just the classic sort of battle. But I thought that was an interesting like etiquette thing. And so anyway, since I read that, now I absolutely just hit my floor first.
Well, I always let the woman walk out first because I want to check out her butt. I'm kidding, of course, because I don't do that. I do it to be nice. But I'm wondering. No, I obviously don't do it for that reason. I do it to be kind. But I'm wondering if there's a fear there that some.
No, this is the point that Mike is making. So you hit your button first.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like you're scheming. If you happen to hit
Be
the
on the
button
same
and she's
floor.
going to the same floor, you get out first and you walk to where you're going. So it's not like you're following her.
Even at work, though? Like in midday?
Oh, I mean, work.
no,
that's
I think
different.
it's like in a
more
in
like
a
hotels.
residence.
Yeah,
Or
like hotels. Yeah,
hotels
Yeah.
are a big one too. Yeah,
I think it was like a reporter, wasn't it?
maybe.
I think it was in like an.
Sorry, I'm not crediting this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good story, but we should find it. But-
Erica, how do you feel about this? You're a woman.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent. I lived in like a condo building for 4 years, and I never felt weird in an elevator.
But okay, so if you're going on the same floor, there's another man there. Do you have an expectation of, oh, I'm going to walk out first, or is it like this standoff where it's kind of awkward and you're like, you go, no, you go, and then you got to decide?
No.
Do you feel a little
I don't think
uncomfortable
so.
if they like get out after you and are kind of following you? But maybe they're just going to their unit. But you're like, why are we on the same path here?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, that was
Yeah,
kind of that
I
was
don't know.
like the position that this person was taking.
Yeah.
So anyway, now I always hit my button first.
Yeah, even if I'm walking at night, like on a dark side street, and there's a woman walking either my direction.
Cross the street.
Yeah, I always cross
Yeah.
the street. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just
Yeah,
being
usually, like-
cognizant of these things.
Yeah.
And something that honestly we never thought about, right? But then you go, oh yeah, like I'm sure there's been a lot of bad sort of uncomfortable moments throughout the years in any sort of person's experience, especially from what we've been hearing and learning as time goes on.
I also make sure if I'm walking down the street, never to look at a woman in the eyes, because
Very
I
Mike-
don't want her to.
in the
I feel
eyes?
like especially if she's attractive. No, I'll just walk forwards without even acknowledging her, because I feel like they're being checked out way too much that they're very uncomfortable.
Oh, it must be so weird to be a woman in the city. Like, I was walking on Queen West yesterday, and there was a guy, just like a dude that kind of looks like us. He's like riding his bike. He's got his helmet on. He's crossing the intersection. There's two good-looking ladies crossing him, and he does the thing with his sunglasses. Like, it was
Yeah.
a comedy bit where he's like,
Oh
whoa,
my
whoa,
God.
wow, wow, wee, wow. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Like, are you kidding, bro? Like, it was just insane behavior. So I was like, if this is happening at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday with a dude on his bicycle with his fucking helmet on, like,
Yeah.
what else is happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the original subject. Is there anything that needs to be legislated? I'm all about big government. We know this.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
So
not-
motorcycles we agree on.
like noise
100%.
pollution.
Noise pollution, yeah. What's the fine for walking like an idiot on the sidewalk?
You should just get a warning by a police officer, and that should scare you straight. No, but they ask for your ID, they punch it in, and if you have, let's say,
You get carded.
yeah, if you have 5 warnings, then you get a
You're fine.
$50 fine.
I'm into this. This is the kind of thing that I feel like the Germans would do. They'd be like, listen, you can drink in the street. You can have an open bottle of beer, no problem. But you're a fucking idiot and you're bothering other people with your slow walking, fine. That's the way the Germans
It's
do
not
it.
even about speed. It's about clogging the sidewalk.
Being
It's
cognizant
like-
of your surroundings.
I'm not sure if this is a word, but have some verticality to it.
Yeah.
You don't have your whole family doesn't need to be widthways blocking the whole sidewalk.
Single file, people.
Single file.
Not even single file, but some
Cluster a bit.
Like have it even so it's a little bit of a funnel so people can get by. When you're blocking every single spot on the sidewalk and you're walking slow, you deserve a fine.
Wow.
Okay, we need to wrap this up in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have any...
Oh, no. I was just going to say, speaking of drinking in public, I remember hearing this story about, I don't know if it was like after game 5 of the finals or something. My brother had come from work.
I can't believe we never told this
I
story.
know, that's
This
what you
is the
reminded
best
me.
story.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Greg. Oh my god, that was funny.
That was the best story, actually.
I don't know if you've heard this one, Shaney.
I haven't.
It's a good one.
Can you tell the details better?
So from what
Yeah.
I understand, I wasn't there. So I was at, it was the night they won the conference finals to go to against
Yeah.
Milwaukee. So it was game 6.
Yeah.
And so I was at the game, and then all you guys were going to like.
Well, basically, we'd been watching the game at your place,
Right.
or in your building.
Jono's.
Or Jono's, just down the street. So we're right in the heart of downtown. We say, let's take the streets, let's go celebrate.
My brother comes from work because
Yeah.
he's been doing TFC.
Well, to set this up a little bit more,
Yeah.
everybody had been drinking and celebrating. We go to a public park around the corner on King Street. We're having beers there.
public.
In public. Everyone's out and about. It's like a beautiful night. Then we decide, because Erica says, we're going to the bar. Let's find a club.
So the reason why I said this bar
Yeah.
is because there was like a large man standing on the corner of the street, and he was like, "Come here." So I walked
This goes
over.
back to our previous
So
conversation.
I walked over, and I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "You and all your friends can come into my bar."
By the way, this is exactly why you never seem to get weirded out on elevators. A large man standing on the corner goes, "Come here," and you're like, "Okay."
Well, no, because we had been
This
talking
bar is
for,
inside
like,
my van. Okay.
You like candy? Yes, I do.
You got Sour Patch Kids? Sweet. Let's do this.
No, we had been talking for like 15 minutes. Where should we go? Where should we go? Where are we gonna get in? So then this man comes out, like he's just answering our prayers, and he's like, "Come, all your friends can come into my bar." And I was like bartering with him. I was like, "1 free round, no cover. Can I coat check my bag? XYZ." He was like, "Yeah, sure."
It's pretty easy bartering.
Yes.
Just agreeing to your
I was like,
terms.
"Sweet, let's go here, you guys."
By the way, the place is called Tequila Jack's.
Oh, it's the worst.
When we
It's
entered
the
it
worst.
was
I didn't
completely
know.
empty.
Oh, geez. No wonder he agreed to all your terms.
There was like stripper poles. It was like one of those like weird places. Yeah, it sucks. But I was like, at least we can all get a free drink. Turns out only girls could get a free drink.
Yeah.
And then everybody was not impressed.
So, but before we get in there, it's a big group. There's probably like 12 of us. So again, we've been drinking most of the night. We had just had open alcohol around the corner, and we decided to crack one more. We get in the line. Greg shows up because Greg's been working at the TFC game the whole night. And somebody basically just like shoves a beer in his hand. Dude is stone sober. He's like, okay. He's about to have a sip, and a police officer says, "Hey, you, come with me." And so basically, the rest of us are like, "Holy shit, Greg's about to get in trouble." And we just watch Greg being lectured at probably for like 7 minutes. And the shit coming out of the officer's mouth was hilarious. He's like, do you remember what he said?
Yeah. So like basically, it's like
But wait, why was he stopped though?
Because he had an open beer.
Oh, it was in public. I see, okay.
It was still on the sidewalk as we were waiting to get in.
Okay.
As Erica was bartering, we were
Gotcha.
waiting to get
So
in
I heard
Tequila
they
Jack's.
all ditched their beers, and then Greg's the last one who just been handed a beer, and then he's the one that gets caught.
Right.
And so the officer's like, "You drinking in public, eh, kid?" And Greg's like, he's like, "Pick that up." So now he's embarrassing Greg. He's making him pick up every one of the beers and put it into the garbage can. He's like, "Listen, I get it." He's like, "You want to have drinks. You want to be an idiot. You're out here in public looking like a fool." It's like, "What are you, in college?" He's like, "Listen, one of these days," he's like, "I could give you a fine right now. And you're going to go for a job interview at some point. And someone's going to ask you, have you ever had a dealing with the police? You're going to have to say yes."
And he's like, what are you, 21, 22 years old? You just graduated from college. You're here with your
Yeah,
buddies.
he's like, your parents.
Drunk being
By the way,
an
Greg
idiot.
is 35.
But Greg, instead of being like, actually, he doesn't want to catch the $300 drinking in public
No.
fine. So Greg's just going, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir."
Which is the smartest thing you could
Oh
do.
my God! So he's
I
just
wouldn't
letting
have
this
done
guy
that.
think that he just graduated college. He's picking up the cans of beer, and the guy's like, "So when you go for that job interview, I let you off." He's like, "So let this be a warning to you." And he's like, "Don't make this mistake again." Greg probably, I don't know if he makes more than the officer, but Greg's doing all right. And this cop is like trying to give him like a
Yeah, he's like, your parents are going to be so embarrassed. You know?
Yeah.
It's like jokes on you.
He's like, your parents must be spending so much money on your tuition.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But Greg's just like, okay, officer, and so it's like he's trying to scare him straight, like that SNL sketch. And so Greg just fucking put the cans away, and then they went to the bar.
He picked up all of our cans that we had ditched on the sidewalk.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and then they went to the bar.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I thought you were gonna say he was like, "You like beer, eh? Well, you got to chug every single one of those and do that whole thing."
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're a smoker now? Smoke the whole thing. Yeah.
all right. Do we respond? Like you said, Max, we had like 10 minutes
Yeah,
left. So let's skip Little Mermaid. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll come back to it on the next Freedom. Shayna, you had something you want to talk
Just
about.
like a mini little rant, I guess.
Okay.
And
This
that-
is fun. We've been
It's been a
ranting for
very
like 20
ranty-
minutes.
It's a ranty episode.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know I like wearing hats, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
I'm wearing one right now, but I want to be wearing Mike's hat right now.
I am currently wearing the 2019 champions Toronto Raptors, the best in the world, limited edition OVO hat, which was a hot ticket. Lineups around blocks and blocks. My brother scored it for me because he's a gem, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, Greg.
So I messaged Greg. I was like, "Hey, if the hats ever open up, could you get me one?" He's like, "I'll do my best." And then we went to the bachelor party.
Yeah.
And I left my Fun Guy shirt there, and this Fun Guy shirt was a Father's Day gift for me. And apparently it was like $130 or something. I know you get them for free, but my wife had to pay for it. And I was like, oh, Greg, because Greg left after me when I went back to Hamilton. I was like, Greg, could you get my shirt for me? And then he made some comment about getting a Reese's Nutrageous. And I was like, okay, enough about Nutrageous. Just make sure you get the shirt. And then he didn't respond to that. He didn't get the shirt. So then I had to pay $50 to get the shirt shipped back.
Wow.
Then I find out he just got Mike the hat, but not me. So then I messaged Birchall to get me the hat.
The nut.
But he did that whole thing like, you know how when he can't do something, but he doesn't want to admit he can't do something? He'll be like, we'll chat later. He's like, I'll work on it. So now I'm really, and I haven't gotten any messages since, so now I really think I'm not going to get this hat. I don't know, though, but he hasn't. Maybe he just wants this mention, and then I can come through with the hat, and he can be the hero. So I'm putting it out there as like kind of like meet and greet styles Danny Green thing. If you get me a hat, come on the pod and meet Max.
Oh. Okay, so if someone can find Shane this black... Max has just run out of the pod studio. He's running over to Manager Ash's office. But in the interim, until he comes back, if you can find Shane one of these limited edition OVO championship hats as the best in the world, you can come. Oh my God!
Whoa!
Shane's shaking right now.
Wait, how?
Cheers.
How? You
Nah.
don't care?
Max just
can
ran
have it.
back in here
What?
with one of these black hats for Shane.
How though?
We had Nick Nurse's team sent it to us, but you should have it.
You don't want it?
It's been sitting in Ash's office for a week. I haven't even put it on. You'd appreciate it
Whoa,
more.
your trash is my treasure.
My goodness, look at you,
This is
buddy.
amazing.
This is so
Wow.
exciting for you.
How much you want?
It's free.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Well, fuck that contest. This is awesome.
Dreams do come true
Dreams
on the
come
Mike on Much podcast. Thanks for listening. We out.
Mike on Much can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Mike on Much. You can subscribe to the show on any platform that has podcasts, Spotify. Do it.